And we're also learning new details about the murder of 2 teens in Delphi, Indiana. A newly unsealed affidavit reveals police arrested the suspect 5 years after the crime after finding an unspent .40 caliber round. ABC News' Alex Perez joins me now with more details on this. Alex, this is the first time we're learning about how investigators zeroed in on this suspect, Richard Allen. So walk me through these new findings and how we got here.
Yeah, Diane, you know, these documents, the prosecutors wanted to keep them sealed, and the judge defied that request and made these documents public. And for the first time, we're sort of learning how authorities got to Richard Allen, and it raises a lot more questions than really provides answers. You know, we learned that they actually interviewed Richard Allen back in 2017. That's the same year that the girls were found dead. And nothing happened back then. They let him go and never really followed up. And we also learned in those documents that it wasn't until October of this year, almost 6 years after those murders, that they re-interviewed him and then finally decided to execute a search warrant at his home. And then, as we now know, they discovered that the bullet that was found on the scene in between the girls' bodies matched a gun that was in his home. But of course, it raises those questions. Why didn't they talk to him sooner? What happened in the last 5 years? Why weren't they checking up with him? Why weren't they following up? Why didn't they execute that search warrant 5 years ago? And so this community there in Delphi and really just across the region there has been so involved with this story, and now they have even more questions than they do answers.
Yeah, and they knew at that time that he had been on the trail. It's not as if he was someone they weren't even looking at. So the community's definitely going to want to know what took so long to search his home and question him further. But there was something else. One of Carroll County's prosecutors recently said in court that they had good reason to believe the suspect was not acting alone. So what more do we know about that? Is there any sense of who else they might be looking at here?
Yeah, you know, that is the big question right now, Diane. I've talked to the prosecutor's office. I've talked to the lead investigator on this case, to the sheriff in Carroll County, and none of them will really tell me who exactly they're looking for, but they all say the same thing, that they do not believe that Richard Allen, the suspect, acted alone. And that's one of the reasons they insist that they wanted to keep so much of this information, this evidence, so close to them, because they fear that revealing the information will allow this other suspect, this other person they're looking for, will give them some leeway to sort of get away or run from the area or make themselves harder to find. So we don't know exactly who they're looking for, but all of those agencies investigating this, and there have been a number of agencies, more than 70,000 tips, hundreds of people over the last 5 years, everybody telling me the same thing. They do not think he acted alone. And we have to remember, we don't know what exactly was on that video that Libby German took on her phone. We saw the images of the suspect, but we don't know how long that video was. We don't know what other discussion, conversation was captured on there. So authorities still have a lot of evidence that has not been made public. And based on what they're saying, we believe that is what's making them think that there's other people involved in this case, Diane.
Well, so many questions still. I know you're watching this case closely for us, Alex. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.